you know, it's, you straight. You did it like, I'm 15, 16 years old. And she laying on the couch. And I'm sitting on the other end, and she laid down on the couch and put her head in my lap. I'm like, damn. He can't be talking about Mary was talking about she wanted me to come back up here, now she on my lap. And I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, what is this gonna end up to? And she stayed a couple more hours. And we decided to go in the other room because it was a suite. We went in another room and laid down. And she laid down with me and she kind of like backed up against me, and every time she backed up against me, I would move away and shit.
Danny Boy just brought some strong evidence to expose Diddy and Mary J. Blige for involving him in a complicated situation when he was only 15. Rumor has it that he is next in line to take the stand at Diddy's trial. We all know there have been rumors about multiple celebrities helping Diddy and being involved in his activities. Well, it turns out that Mary J. Blige's situation is allegedly one of them. According to Danny, he is not the only one she was connected to. Now, if you thought this was messy, it's about to get much more complicated. Danny is also coming forward with evidence that Mary allegedly became pregnant with Diddy's child during that time, and then Diddy pressured her to end the pregnancy. So, does this mean Mary was a victim, or was she involved in the situation? And was she involved with Danny while also connected to Tupac? Y'all, this is a wild story, so let's break it down. People have been saying that once Diddy's secrets started coming out, it was only a matter of time before other big names in the industry were exposed too. That prediction seems to be coming true because Mary J. Blige's name has suddenly been brought up, and not for anything good. Singer Danny Boy, who was part of Death Row Records, started doing a series of interviews. In those conversations, he made some serious claims involving Mary J. Blige. According to him, when he was just 15 years old, Mary, who was 24 at the time, pursued a close relationship with him. What made it even more concerning was Danny's claim that Diddy knew about this and may have been involved in making it happen. He described the music industry at the time as a place where powerful adults created an environment that allowed these kinds of situations to take place, while young artists like himself were left vulnerable and unheard. According to Danny, everything started back in 1995, right after the Source Awards. There was an after-party happening at a hotel, and many well-known names were there, like Mary J. Blige, Diddy's baby mama Nisa Hilton, and a few other women celebrating with the crew. Danny said he was in his own room when someone called and invited him to join the festivities. When he walked in and saw Mary J. Blige, he admitted he was completely starstruck because he had been a fan of hers for years. He hung out for a while and had a few drinks with the group before eventually heading back to his room. But a little later, someone from the party called him again and said a woman wanted to see him, thinking it might be one of the other ladies. From the celebration, he made his way over to the room. But when he got there, the only people in the room were Mary and Misa. Danny claimed that things eventually went all the way, and they slept together that night. As if that wasn't already problematic. It didn't stop there. According to him, it turned into a full-blown affair. He said Mary would fly him out to New York to spend time with her, keeping the relationship going in secret. What made it even more complicated was that she apparently led him to believe he was her boyfriend. Danny said he genuinely thought they were in a real relationship, unaware that she was also involved with Tupac and KC around the same time.
16 years old, and she laying on the couch, and I'm sitting on the other end, and she laid down on the couch and put her head in my lap. I'm like, damn. He can't be talking about Mary was talking about she wanted me to come back up here, now she on my lap. And I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, what is this gonna end up to? And she stayed a couple more hours. And we decided to go in the other room because it was a suite. We went in another room and laid down. And she laid down with me and she kind of like backed up against me. And every time she backed up against me, I would move away and shit, you know.
But even after all of this, he still insists that they were dating and that it wasn't just a fling to him. Even though it's now clear that Mary didn't feel the same way, he believed it was a real relationship from early on.
You was messing with Mary.
Well,
okay,
how
did you think about
that time I wasn't. I kind of was, but it wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. How did you think? Like, what did you feel like? Okay, yeah, I like Mary, or you just was like, was she taking advantage of you because you were young?
No, I mean, that was Mary J. Blige.
She was young too.
She was young too, and that was Mary J. Blige. And when I brought that story up, because a lot of people thought that I was like trying to Me Too. I mean, I wouldn't have used her. I got somebody I could Me Too if I want to, but it wouldn't be Mary. I said it in the conversation of, somebody else was saying how Mary was somebody's girl, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, no, it wasn't. No, it was.
But here's where the story takes a turn. According to Danny, Mary didn't come up with all of this on her own. He claims she allegedly learned it from none other than Diddy himself. Back in the day, Mary and Diddy were extremely close. He was working at Uptown Records, and she was one of the label's rising stars. Looking back, their closeness definitely raises some eyebrows. Multiple people have come forward accusing Diddy of manipulating them while he was at Uptown. According to Danny, Diddy allegedly encouraged him to pursue the relationship with Mary. And when he was hesitant to get intimate with her, Diddy allegedly pressured and coerced him, going as far as to threaten to ruin his career if he didn't. Fall in line. Danny Boy claims that this was the real reason his career stalled. Allegedly, he grew tired of being yanked around by Diddy and Mary, saying he was treated like their plaything or boy toy. He says they would call on him whenever they got in the mood to get freaky, and he had to drop everything, no matter where he was, because they'd fly him out. Now, I'm sure you're connecting the dots in the comments, because this sounds a lot like the same stuff Cassie said. It's eerily similar to what those freak-off court docs described, Diddy ordering people to fly out at a moment's notice, and then getting furious if they didn't immediately cater to his every whim. So, going by Danny Boy's account, Diddy has allegedly been super freaky since the 90s at the very least. And let's not forget, he was running the puffy flavor camp at the time with multiple young men under his roof. Y'all, we're going to have to unpack all of this because it's one hot mess after another. But what makes Danny Boy's story even more believable is the fact that Mary J. Blige has had a long and well-documented friendship with Diddy. If you thought Diddy and Jay-Z were close, Diddy and Mary were practically glued at the hip. They've been tight since the early 90s. Diddy produced some of her first albums, including her debut, What's the 4-1 Woman? So yeah, we're talking about over 30 years of friendship. Diddy has always praised Mary, calling her one of the greatest performers and vocalists of all time. In an interview, he said, Mary J. Blige is one of the greatest storytellers in R&B history. She created a lane for women around the world to speak their truth to power. Nobody deserves success more than her. More than being my sister and my best friend, she will forever be a pioneer and the queen of hip-hop soul, an unstoppable force who can accomplish anything she sets her mind to. But by the late 90s and early 2000s, things between Diddy and Mary J. Blige had taken a serious turn for the worse. Their relationship hit a rough patch, and the fallout wasn't quiet. They pretty much stopped speaking and acted like the other didn't even exist. Eventually, Mary opened up about what happened and took full responsibility for the breakdown. She admitted she was in a dark place at the time and couldn't keep her life in order, let alone maintain a friendship or professional connection with Diddy. It was a rare moment of real honesty and self-awareness. That admission helped clear the air and slowly paved the way for them to rebuild their relationship and start working together again. She said, "The real reason we split up is me not understanding the business the way I needed to understand it at the time. He had a label. He had a female artist. He had Biggie. But during that time, I was really dogging myself. I was a mess on drugs. And any smart man or businessman would have moved away from me. It felt like he was becoming distant, but looking back, I now understand why. I wasn't delivering properly. I wasn't taking care of my health. So, how could he roll the dice on me? But that's not all. Let's talk about the rumor that Diddy allegedly got Mary pregnant and then forced her to end the pregnancy. According to Danny Boy, the dynamic between Diddy and Mary during their intimate moments was far from loving. or respectful. He alleged that Diddy was rough with her and even claimed that Diddy forced Mary to use a strap-on to please him.